All right, let's talk about Finnish. You've probably heard it's, one of the hardest languages on the planet. But what if that's not the right way to look at it? Today, we're going to crack the code. Forget about memorizing tons of words. We're going to do something way different. We're going to learn how to think in Finnish. Seriously, just forget everything you think you know about language learning. The whole idea here is to see Finnish not as a bunch of random rules to memorize, but as a really logical system, kind of like Legos. It's a system you can actually understand just by thinking it through. And this is our motto for today. The pressure is off you completely. If something doesn't make sense, that's on me, not you. So just lean back, relax, and let the logic of it all just sink in. No stress. Okay, let's get our hands dirty. We're gonna lay down the first couple of bricks for our foundation. And we are starting super, super simple. Just two basic words. Here is our very first building block, se. It just means it. That's all. Super easy to remember, se. And here's our second block, on. It means is, and it sounds exactly like the English word on. So we've got say, and we've got on. You see where this is going, right? And this is where the magic happens. You just take those two little blocks we learned, and they just snap together. That's it. No weird grammar rules, no extra words you have to add. Say on. Boom, you just said your first Finnish phrase. It is. How cool and logical is that? So let's make it a whole sentence. The Finnish word for good is hyvä, so you just add it to the end. Say on hyvä. It is good. I mean, think about it. A few seconds ago, you knew zero Finnish, and now you're already building complete, useful thoughts. That's our foundation right there. All right, the foundation is solid. Now, let's make this personal. It's one thing to talk about it, but it's way more useful to talk about what you do and what you want. So we're going to add a little handle to our words to make them about I. So here's a really cool idea. In Finnish, you don't always need a separate word for I. Nope. Instead, you just stick a little tail onto the end of the action word. And for I, that tail is just the letter N. Just think N for number one because, well, that's you. Let's try it out. The basic idea or the root for to want is haluan. To make it about you, you just snap on that little N handle and it becomes haluan, just like that. You are now saying, I want. And check this out. See how the pieces we've learned start connecting? We take our new word, haluan, and we combine it with our very first word, say. Now there's just one tiny logical change. When it is the thing you're doing something to, like wanting it, say gets its own little tail and becomes sen. So you get haluan sen, I want it. See? You're already expressing what you want. Okay, this is getting good. We've got our key pieces. We can say it is, I want, and we have it. Now let's start plugging these things together to build bigger, more interesting ideas. Just watch how this builds. We start with what we know. Haluan, I want. Simple enough. What do I want? Well, let's add the action to speak, which is puhua. So now we have haluan puhua. I want to speak. And what do we want to speak? Finnish, of course, which is suomea. You just line them all up. Haluan puhua suomea. It's like stacking blocks, one logical piece right after another. Okay, now we're going to look at a few things in Finnish that might seem a little weird at first to an English speaker. But I promise, once you see the logic, you'll realize they're actually super clever and efficient ways to solve common problems in language. For example, in English, we have to use a whole extra word, to, like I give this to you. Finnish looks at that and thinks, we can do better. Instead of a whole word, it just sticks a little tail on the end of the person you're talking about, and that tail is elle. Let's break this sentence down. Annan means I give, and hey look, you can see our little N handle for I right there. Sen is it, we already know that one, and sinuelle means to you. Sinu is the root word for you, and there's our le tail meaning to. So instead of 4 separate words like in English, it's just 3 neat parts. Annan sin sinuelle. It's just elegant, isn't it? So here's another really clever twist. Think about saying no in English. We say I do not, you do not. The word not never changes, right? Well, Finnish flips that on its head. The word for not is actually what changes depending on who's talking. So for I, the negative word is n. And get this, when you use n, the verb halua actually drops its little n handle. Why? Because n already does the job. It's already telling us we're talking about I. It's so efficient. Here's one more example to lock it in.
The word voi means can, so en voi literally means I not can, or as we'd say, I cannot. Then you just finish the thought. En voi puhua suomea. I cannot speak Finnish. The logic is just so consistent and clean.
Think about English for a second. It's actually kind of a mess when we ask questions. We take a perfectly good sentence like, it is good, and we have to flip it all around to, is it good? So how does Finnish solve this without all that hassle?
This solution is absolutely brilliant. You don't change the word order at all. You just find the most important word, usually the verb, and you stick a little question tag on the end of it. Go. That's it. So on, it is, becomes uncle, is it? It's like a universal signal that just says, hey, by the way, this is a question.
So let's just pause and take a look at what we've done. You haven't been sitting here memorizing a bunch of vocabulary. Not at all. You've been collecting tools. You're not a student cramming for a test. You're a builder, and you've just put together your first toolkit for making your own ideas in Finnish.
And here it is. This is your starter toolkit. You've got the end tail to say I do something. You've got the lay tail to say to someone. You've got your special negative word, un, to say I don't. And you've got that awesome little code tag to ask a question. These are your fundamental pieces. You can already build so much with just these 4 tools.
And that's really the big takeaway here. You didn't just learn a few phrases today. You learned a system. You started to see the logic, the code that makes the language work. So the question isn't whether Finnish is hard or easy. The real question is, now that you know how to think this way, what's the next code you're ready to crack?